Hey everyone, Dana from Kickpoint Playbook here. Today we're talking about something that's probably causing you headaches right now, your marketing analytics. So picture this, you're in a meeting with your CEO. They ask about the ROI in your latest campaign and you've got the perfect answer ready. You pull up a dashboard that shows not just what worked, but why it worked, and you've got data-backed recommendations for the next campaign. That sounds a bit like a dream, right? For most marketers, it is. There's this massive gap between the data we need and the data that we have. And even though we have more data than ever before, many teams find themselves drowning in metrics rather than working with actual insights. But here's the truth. Getting to analytics mastery is not about implementing the latest AI tool or hiring a team of data scientists. It's about understanding where you are in what we call the analytics maturity framework. Think of it as your roadmap to analytics success. Just like Maslow's hierarchy of needs shows how humans progress from basic survival to self-actualization, the analytics maturity framework shows how organizations move from data chaos to data excellence. I'll walk you through each level, help you determine where you are, and most importantly, how to move up in the framework. The first level is chaos. This is where lots of organizations start, and if this describes you, don't worry, you are not alone. In this chaos phase, decisions are made based on gut feelings rather than data. Success or failure is determined by how people feel, not what the numbers actually are showing. So how do you know you're at level 1? This is when you can't find basic campaign performance data. Different team members report different metrics from different sources. Decisions are made based on instinct or what someone learned at a conference. And any data that does exist is scattered in random places, like that Excel file in your marketing manager's laptop from 2018. If that sounds familiar, this is something I often tell new clients who are clearly at level 1. No one contacts an agency because things are just going great. Keep that in mind. Everyone has to start somewhere, and chaos is often the catalyst for good change. The next level, level 2, is aware. At the aware level, your organization has taken its first steps towards data maturity. Analytics exists, and a small number of team members actually know how to access it. Basic insights like page views are available on request. There may not be a lot of decision making based on these metrics yet, but at least you have them and you can get some idea of what's working and what isn't. But a quick side note here. Analytics isn't perfect and it can never be perfect. Instead of chasing impossible perfection, focus on using data to guide people towards smarter, more confident decisions. Now, how do you know you're at level 2? This is when you have analytics like GA4, but you have to go through a gatekeeper to get access sometimes. You can put together campaign reports, but it requires manually pulling data from multiple sources. And decision-making happens weeks or months after a campaign ends. You're mostly tracking impressions, and conversions are barely reported if they are reported at all. This is the stage where you start building your foundations, and you gain leadership's trust to move ahead with your analytics practice. At this point, you want to focus on standardizing your basic metrics and making sure the right people have access to fundamental data before you continue pushing ahead. Level 3 is direction. This direction level marks the transition from basic to intermediate analytics maturity. At this level, you're reviewing insights regularly, and data is beginning to influence decision-making, though it's often used selectively to support existing assumptions. How will you know you're at level 3? This is when analytics insights are reviewed regularly, even when you're not actively running campaigns. Decision-making can be data influenced, but sometimes personal opinions override what the data is telling you. And there is a standardized process for reporting. It might be a manual process, but hopefully there's a little bit of automation at least. And you're starting to connect multiple data sources, such as tying your meta ads to GA4 data or your CRM, for example. This is the stage where it's important to avoid the confirmation bias trap. That's where data is used to support predetermined conclusions rather than letting it guide your strategy. This happens when your data conflicts with assumptions held by your managers or your leadership team. You might hear arguments that the data isn't accurate. I mean, that's true. It's never 100% accurate. We know that. But that shouldn't stop you from making decisions. A lot of organizations really get stuck at level 3, especially if the data isn't telling them what they expected to hear. By getting past this level, it means that you often have to reevaluate your goals and tactics, and making sure your goals are actually goals, not just misnamed tactics. Level 4 is insight. Now finally you've made it out of direction into insight. This is where analytics truly begins to drive business value. Here, data is integrated across systems, governance structures are in place or are being developed, and predictive analytics are starting to appear. How will you know you're at level 4? This is when your analytics, your CRM, and marketing automation systems are integrated. Decisions are made confidently based on results that anyone on the team can access. You have governance to ensure analytics changes are tracked and approved, and there's enough trustable data that predictive analytics are actually starting to play a role. This is where you see the struggle to get past level 3 was worth it. You're starting to see real ROI from your analytics investment, both in saved time and marketing spend. Decisions are made faster, they're more accurate, and there's confidence in the process. Then finally, we reach level 5, embedded. This is the pinnacle of analytics maturity. At this embedded level, analytics isn't just a tool people access, it's foundational to many parts of the organization. Predictive analytics and machine learning are integrated, and there's widespread confidence in data-informed decisions. Now, how do you know you're at level 5? Let's be honest, if you're here, you're probably not watching this video. You don't need this. You're probably doing pretty good. But if you are watching this, your organization has dedicated analytics resources with documented processes. Data access is centralized and people can query it without specialized knowledge. And machine learning and predictive analytics are routine, and there's organization-wide confidence in analytics. And although technically this is the top of the framework, your work does not stop here. You'll need to keep evolving as analytics evolves. That includes reviewing new tools and tactics and identifying potential risks as well. Make analytics education part of your onboarding for all new team members to ensure that analytics will remain foundational to your organization. Now, how can you move up in this framework? Before you can advance, you really need to know where you stand. We don't need a complicated survey to determine your level. I'm going to ask you just 4 simple questions. If you go to our website at kpplaybook.com/maturity, you can take this quick assessment. And then once you know your level, here's some immediate steps you can take to move up. First off, I want you to standardize metrics across platforms and teams. When you report in impressions and your PPC person reports in impressions and your SEO agency reports in impressions, are you all talking about the same thing? A common mistake we see is with attribution windows for conversions. One tool might count conversions up to 7 days after a click, while GA4 could count them up to 90 days after. Which is right? They're both right, actually, but you need to decide which is right for you and then stick with it. Next, I want you to implement regular analytics reviews. Have you ever actually sat down with your team to review analytics and done it on a regular basis? Don't assume everyone is looking at the data as much as you are. Schedule dedicated time for analytics review. This is also a great opportunity to push toward changes needed to move up in this framework. Next, you should be documenting your analytics configurations and procedures. Who has access to analytics? If something new needs to be tracked, who's responsible? Document your configurations and procedures, whether formal or informal. It can be as simple as writing down, if we need a new conversion in Google Ads, Perna can set that up in a location your team can access. Don't feel like you need a 60-page process guide. You just got to start somewhere, and 1 sentence might be all you need. Next, I want you to build analytics training programs. Having data is nice, but knowing what to do with it is obviously nicer. Create or purchase an analytics training program for your team with specific milestones. Set up regular meetings to share learnings, and dedicate time to read articles and newsletters to stay current. I have a daily 15-minute meeting with myself to review industry content. Then I want you to develop organization-wide data literacy. Get your organization excited about data by sharing quick wins. Did someone write a blog post that's getting a ton of search traffic? Tell them. Who's the most Googled person at your company? Let them know. Share the fun stuff too, like ridiculous search terms that somehow led people to your website. No matter what level you're at right now, the key is progress. Remember, progress is not always linear. You might have setbacks, but 2 steps forward and 1 step back is still moving in the right direction. This is a marathon, not a sprint. You won't change your organization overnight, but you'll get there 1 step at a time. If you found this helpful, please like this video and subscribe to our channel for more practical digital marketing advice. And if you want to dive deeper, check out the full post linked in the description. Also, consider signing up for our newsletter. That's where we share exclusive insights, expert interviews, and advanced strategies that we don't publish anywhere else. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in our next video.